Welcome all. For those that have been following my blog and some of my videos for a little while, you'll realise that my journey with the Pocket 4K has involved quite a bit of experimentation with audio gear. For those who are aware with the P4K, the onboard mics aren't too bad if the camera is used just on its own, but when you put it into a rig, you start muffling the sound with mat boxes and things like that, and on-camera microphones don't really provide the quality that you'd expect. You need to boost the signal because the preamps in the camera just simply aren't strong enough, and if you're using a 3.5mm microphone, there's no power boost provided to the microphones at all, so the signal tends to be fairly weak. Now, I've fixed a lot of those problems by incorporating audio recorders onto it, but I haven't always been totally happy with it, even though the performance with the on-camera mics has been pretty good. It's lav performance that then obviously suffers. Now, I've been using a lav for a little while with audio recorders, but the problem is just synchronising those, the voice and the video itself in post, and that can create its own hassles. There are options to work around that, but as always, they are really expensive. So I started looking at wireless mics, and there's been a few coming out recently. One being the Rode Wireless Go, which has received a lot of exciting reports. And in the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks, there's been a number of reviews on YouTube covering the Wireless Go, as well as a couple of other mics doing comparisons. And whilst it tends to receive fairly good accolades as far as the voice quality and that goes, it really receives a lot of brickbats as far as its wireless range. And I sort of looked at that and considered the way some of the reviews have been done, and I thought, I don't think that they've actually been innovative enough with their testing processes, and I thought that the Wireless Go was actually getting poorer reviews than it actually deserved. Now, one of the features of the Wireless Go is that you can attach microphones to the transmitter itself, and like a lav and so forth, and it creates a lot of versatility. So I ended up getting the Wireless Go, and after several weeks of testing, I'm actually very happy with it. It actually is a very versatile and high quality unit given the price, and I found that the reviews in fact were a little bit limited in their scope, and I've done some testing of my own and proven that the Wireless Go in fact has a much greater range if you tend to be a little bit more innovative than what some of the reviews showed. The other thing with the Wireless Go is that because you can attach a microphone to the transmitter, you can actually use this on camera as a booster for audio signal if you're just using on-camera mics. And with a Y splitter, you can actually still leave the microphone on camera and then walk away with the lav, and you can actually then get audio from a distance as well as ambient sounds recorded from the on-camera microphone. So that provides quite a bit of versatility, and I think that's excellent. But back to the range issue, what I did was basically attach a smart lav to the transmitter of the Wireless Go, attached the transmitter to my belt on my side, and then went to my local park and did some testing out there. I've put a video following this just to show exactly what I did, and you see how far I went away. But paraphrasing the whole thing, what I did was walked 10 paces away from the camera at a time, recited a small poem, and then continued on 10 paces from there. I went to a total distance of 160 paces, turned around and started coming back to the camera. What I found out later was that 130 paces the sound actually dropped off, but then when I got back to the 130 pace mark, the recordings just started going again. So ostensibly the Wireless Go has actually a range of at least 130 paces, which is roughly 130 metres, and definitely the sound quality stayed exactly the same all the way through, as well as the volume. There was no cutouts at all, while that transmitter was actually able to point directly towards the camera. So the accompanying video there will show you exactly what I did, and I put the whole thing in there except the return journey, just so you can actually see how far I went and get a bit of perspective there as well. Well, welcome all. I'm at Mossvale Park this morning in my manky clothes because it's wet and miserable out here, but I thought I'd use this opportunity to do a test on the Rode Wireless Go lav system, and try to test out a bit of a theory that I had about how well it will actually work over distance versus what I've seen on YouTube fairly regularly saying that it doesn't have any range. and I just want to see if it actually holds true, or if there is a way of actually making it work a lot better over a longer range. So we'll see how it goes. Mary had a little lamb at 20 metres or 20 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 30 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 40 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 50 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 60 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 70 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 80 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 90 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 100 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 110 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 120 paces. Mary had a little lamb at 130 paces. So overall, the Wireless Go, I think, is a very, very good microphone system, well worth considering, especially because of its flexibility, and the actual quality of sound and so forth is also outstanding in my view. I mean, I could get something a lot better, but then you're going to be paying a hell of a lot more for high quality gear. And so basically, that's my sort of very short overview of what I think about the Rode Wireless Go microphone system. Think about it, and hope to see you soon. Cheers.